Mr Deputy President, just last week I ventured out to Broken Hill and Menindee. This in itself is not that big a deal. I'm often out in Western New South Wales. It's a wonderful part of the state and the more people should visit there. And I'm here to recommend a way to do it on the XPT Outback Xplorer. For those unfamiliar with the Explorer, it's a weekly passenger train between Broken Hill and Sydney with many wonderful stops in between. For me, I jumped on at Orange and headed for Menindee. And no sooner had I sat down with some lovely scones from the buffet cart that the incredible show began as the New South Wales countryside began sweeping past. The rolling hills of the Central Tablelands opened up to the flat cropping country through the Lachlan. The country got sparser the further we went west, but wet areas, in some parts totally underwater, were clear signs of recent heavy rains. A stark different to my visits there 3 or 4 years ago. Crops gave way to cattle, then to sheep, then the horn on the train got quite busy as it warned away small mobs of goats of our approach before they scattered into the scrub. Kangaroos and emus looked on with cautious interest as waterbirds scarcely deviated from their task, stalking around the edges of temporary water bodies. Bright colours caught the eyes, the green grasslands in close, the golden canola crops, the blue sky, the sun glare on the tinted windows, the canvas of the countryside offering the red hills, red sandy hills, the dark clay pans, countless shades of green, the blue bush and the purple wildflowers, all closed out with a climax of colours, pink, orange, red, yellow, purple, as the sun set over the far west just as we pulled into Menindee. Now, I only joined this trip from Orange, so if you think it couldn't sound any better, imagine watching the sun, early morning sun, expose the magnificent blue mountains as you snaked your way through the blue gum forest and majestic cliffs, leaving Sydney far behind you. This is a trip I would recommend to everyone. Do yourself a favour and jump on the XPT Explorer. All along the journey from Sydney to Broken Hill, there are remarkable places to stop and wonderful things to see. Places and things you can't help falling in love with, like the Elvis Festival at Parks. Jumpsuit up and head out there in January next year to see this world-famous event, supported to the tune of about $150,000 by the New South Wales Nationals in government. In Condobolin, there's the utes in the paddock, 20-odd utes mounted along the side of the road, all given life by various artists and turned into everything from bird-drawn carriages, outback dunnies and rusty celebrations of our beloved Holden. And these will soon be even more accessible thanks to support from the state government with the building of a new tourist information centre on the site. And I was out there recently to announce money to connect these sites with the town of Condobolin with a river walkway along the mighty Lachlan River. And it's the Lachlan that provides an additional draw card out at Menindee. It's the Darling that provides a draw card out at Menindee, just a little further down the line. For me, it's been far, far too long since I've caught a decent cod, but there are opportunities aplenty out this way, and those opportunities are growing. They're literally growing. 1 million of them. Well, more than that, in fact, 1.27 million cod fingerlings have been released into New South Wales rivers like the Darling this year as part of the New South Wales Government's $10 million native fish drought response. A wonderful opportunity out there at Menindee to bag the big one. Then, of course, at the end of the line, Broken Hill, where we just committed $110,000 for the Broken Hill Festival on next month. And, of course, there's the Monday Bash next weekend, headlined by a few you might have heard of, Darryl Braithwaite, Casey Chambers, Missy Higgins, a young bloke called Jimmy Barnes, and, of course, thanks to support from the New South Wales Government, Midnight Oil. Mr Deputy Speaker, regional New South Wales is packed full of things to see and do. The Outback Explorer is one of these things on its own. The places to visit and the things to see along the way make up the fabric that sees regional New South Wales as the best place to live, work and raise a family. But if you're not lucky enough to do that, as I know many in this place are not, get out there and visit, and do so on the XPT Explorer. I'm proud to be a child of regional New South Wales, and I'm proud to be part of a Nationals team who in government are continuing to deliver for our regions, so our regions continue to deliver for regional New South Wales.